Thank you very much. First and foremost, shall we all rise for the national anthem? Let's be seated. We would like to officially welcome each and every one of us to this very joyous occasion of the 10th anniversary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund. 10 years of interventions that has seen the transformation and restoration of the quality of universities in Nigeria. And this year, the theme is celebrating transformative intervention in our public tertiary institutions. And if you have been a part of tertiary education over the course of the last 10 years, you will testify that wherever you go, what you will hear is but for TETFund. TETFund, an organization whose existence has seen the revival of tertiary education in Nigeria. My name is Stanley Bentu. I'm a broadcaster, radio, television presenter, and producer. But I'm not anchoring this event alone. I am blessed with the most gorgeous and intelligent co-anchor.
Thank you very much, Stanley, for that pleasant and warm introduction. Distinguished guests, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to warmly welcome you to the 10th year celebration of TETFund. It has been an interesting journey. And today, we celebrate excellence, we celebrate innovations, we celebrate incessant contributions to national development. Thank you very much for the applause. My name is Mojibade Shosoye, and I'm delighted to be a part of today's occasion. It's a very beautiful day as we celebrate the contributions to national development. We know that the number 4 UN Sustainable Development Goal is quality education. TETFund definitely understands this, and that's why over the past 10 years, they have continuously supported not just education, but also research and development, because they understand its vital role in national development. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. We would like to quickly introduce some of our special guests, starting with our high table. Please join me in welcoming His Excellency, the Governor of Kebbi State, Senator Abubakar Atiku Bagudu. We would also like to recognize, even though he is yet to be here, but we expect that he will be here soon, the Honorable.
We'd also like to specially recognize the chairman of today's occasion, an award-winning medical practitioner. Ladies and gentlemen, we have on the high table Olorogun Dr. Sonny Folorunsho Kuku. I would also like to specially recognize the Chairman, Board of Trustees, TETFund, Alhaji Kashim Ibrahim Imam.
We also have with us the Apostle of Research and Development, the Executive Secretary of TETFund, Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro. And our guest speaker for today is also here. He is Dr. Musa Babayo, who is also a former chairman of the TETFund Board of Trustees. Let's give him a big welcome.
Also on the high table, distinguished guests, we have a TETFund Board of Trustees member from the Northeast region. We have Alhaji Mohammed Laiman Siroma.
Now, we have quite a number of special guests who will be joining us in the course of today's event, and we will be recognizing them even as they come in. But let's begin here. We have the TETFund Board of Trustees member from the Southwest. He's also chairman of the TETFund 10th Year Anniversary Celebration Planning Committee, Senator Ganiu Solomon. Let us give a big round of applause and a warm welcome to TETFund Board of Trustees member representing South-South, Dr. Fieprie Clever Aprebo.
We also have the Chairman, National Research Fund, Professor Abubakar Kundiri. Thank you for joining us today.
These are former board members. Just call them, then you go to the back. Dolamu Jawando. Engineer Shegun Dolamu Jawando.
Also joining us at this beautiful occasion, we have former Board of Trustees members of the TETFund, Engineer Shegun Oni. Thank you very much for joining us. We also have Dr. Dolamu Jarandu. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Fauzat Oguni, who's the group lead enforcement and support group of the FIRS. Now a warm welcome, please.
We have a representative.
Let's welcome the representative of the Auditor General. He is the acting ambassador. Let us give him a warm round of applause. From the Embassy of France, we have Bendit Billy, who is the director of the French Institute.
We have joining us President, Nigerian Academy of Science, Professor Eka Braid. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. We also have the Vice Chancellor, University of Ibadan, Professor Kayode Adebowale. Thank you very much for joining us.
Let's recognize the representative of the NBTE and also the representative of the NCCE. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's give them a big, warm round of applause as they just stand up for recognition, wherever you are. Thank you.
We have a representative from the FCT Minister, Sonny Dahil El Katuzu. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, please let us give a very big round of applause to the leader of the organization that pushed, Professor Victor Osodeke.
We recognize everyone who has joined us today for this beautiful occasion, even as we celebrate 10 years of existence of TETFund. As we go on with today's occasion, we'll recognize more personalities. But as we move on very quickly today, it's my honor to bring up our chairman of the occasion. But just before then, I'd like to recognize Senator Adamu Bukachua, Chairman, Senate Committee on Foreign Affairs. Thank you for joining us, sir. The chairman of today's occasion is a master physician and an endocrinologist. He's a renowned scholar, and I dare to call him an erudite scholar. He's an administrator. He's the co-founder of Eco Hospital. He's a fellow of the Nigerian Academy of Science. He has many accolades to his name. He's an award-winning medical practitioner. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me as I welcome our chairman for today, Olorogun Dr. Sani Kuku.
Your Excellencies, Chairman TETFund, Executive Secretary TETFund, Board of Trustee members, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to apologize for my voice. I think my voice is allergic to very good progress being made by TETFund. But we shall overcome it, whether he likes it or not. Ladies and gentlemen, today is a very special day, and I would like to first hint and not. You may recall that TETFund, the act establishing TETFund in the universities at that time, and established them as so heavily, that is, ASU found that it wasn't making much difference. Then there was a modification of the act. And I think mainly about state universities and non-state universities. But the last one, which was the 2011 one, actually hit the nail on the nail. That is, says it is for only tertiary institutions, and this is very pleasant. Earlier on too, like I said, the state universities were not affected, but the state universities are now part of it. And I also know that the private universities are also clamoring for it. And now, today, we're here for assessment. That is, the KPIs that TETFund was given, has it achieved it? And I would just quickly say the things that were the mandate given to them. That is physical development, purchasing of material and equipment, research, training, and any other matters. In fact, when you look at those mandates, it gladdens your heart, because universities are not only about physical development. And I must congratulate TETFund for diversifying into research, training, and giving other things. And if I were to score, because when you have a strategy, and TETFund is a strategic organization, from 0 to 10, I would say TETFund has done at least 9 out of 10. And in the proverb says, seeing is believing. And if you do not believe what I have said, just go to all the tertiary places in Nigeria. And sometimes somebody was with me who once says, is this a TETFund university? But of course, that was just because TETFund is scattered all over. So I would say that it is done very well, and I'm sure we're going to get even more details about this later. Now, I'm about to go into my favorite subject, that is funding of universities. TETFund has taken a very good chunk of it, but it's still an intervention fund. And intervention funds are supposed to help other funds. Now, the bane of our universities is the fact that the funding is very poor. And I believe that this is so because the situation that used to be and the situation in other places all over the world has been reversed. When I was in university about 100 years ago, I hope you, please clap for me. We were made to pay fees. We were made to pay fees. But my classmates, nobody amongst us paid the school fees from his own pocket. The fees were paid by either the federal government scholarship or state scholarship or local government scholarship, or bursaries, loans, and all. The important thing about this is that when you do that, you then give the institutions, they know exactly the amount of money will come and they can distribute them according to their own specialties, the way they want to do it. And it is not impossible for this to happen. It just needs political will. And I think the message will be carried back to the minister. It will also be carried back to the legislature and, of course, the president. All we need to do is to know how much it costs to train a student. And every student will have to pay that or be paid for. And I think anywhere in the world, somebody pays for them. So apart from this intervention fund, I'm saying to all our tiers of government to start a scholarship fund and supplement it with a loan fund. That's a loan. If you cannot get a scholarship because of how good you have been, you can get a loan or you can get a bursary. And something that we need to encourage universities to do is to have work study for our students so that they can work and go to school. That is what happens in most parts of the world. Now, once this happens, NUC, of course, has produced what it costs to train an average student from art to medicine. And those figures, of course, are outdated now because of the inflation in the country. But if it is possible to get this, and if the University of Benin has X number of students, it will know that it will get X number times the cost of training the student, and they can plan. And when that is done, you'll be surprised. Each university, according to how they can use their money, will start producing excellent students. So what I'm saying is not new, and it's not rocket science. And I know it has been said in many fora, but nothing is being done because we're assuming that education is a social function. Yes, it's social, but everywhere in the world, somebody pays for it. So what we need to do is to lobby the two tiers of government involved in execution of this to look at this new structure. I know the Committee of Vice Chancellors have said it, the Pro-Chancellors have said it. Let's give it a try. And you'll be surprised that all the students who are eligible will be able to go to university. Those who are not, who don't have the funds, will be given loans and bursaries. Even the loans will be given at very low interest rates. Unfortunately, they don't have a guaranteed job to go to after. But that's another part of physical planning. So I would suggest that TETFund is doing a beautiful work, and the TETFund is filling a gap that was not there before. But we need to look again at the way the universities are funded. And if we can look again and get this new thing structure on, you'll see a change totally in the university system. Because what will then happen is that universities can do things that they want to do. And the universities are talking about autonomy. Autonomy is being able to put your mouth where your money is. If the universities can be independent financially, I'm sure the federal government has and state governments have other things to do to face and leave the universities alone. So I'm advocating seriously that those books, those results that are gathering dust somewhere in so many places, I won't mention the Ministry of Education. Please, I didn't mention the Ministry of Education. And let's get them together. Let us have the political will to ensure that this funding mechanism is looked at. So, having said that, let me not take any more of your time. We're here today, we have an evidence-based situation, because when you say TETFund has done so much, but if you look at the brochures from TETFund, it is what you see there is that the evidence of what has been done, and we like to thank God for the fact that that is one area that is worked in terms of intervention funds, and it is important it has worked because education is in a crisis, and my own analysis is the fact that funding is the major problem. The other thing, of course, is the human resource. And we have plenty of that in Nigeria, plenty of very brilliant people who are just waiting to spend the money. Thank you very much, and please let us have a very good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's have another big round of applause for our chairman for today. I think he has set the tone for the event. And as we, just before we move on to our next item, I would just like to quickly recognize the presence of the National Commissioner for INEC, who's representing the chairman of INEC, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu, and his name is Professor A.A. Zuru. We also have a former member of the Board of Trustees of TETFund, Professor Patricia Donnelly, and she's also a member of TETFund's Standing Committee on Research and Development. Let's welcome the second-term representative of the FME at TETFund, or two-term representative, rather, of the FME at TETFund, Dr. Jamila Shuara. Let's give her a big welcome. All right. Now, this introduction gives me particular pleasure because it speaks to a man who has brought a certain level of impact from the activities of TETFund, which has been going on for 10 years now. But TETFund has gone through its evolution, starting from the Education Tax Fund in the early 2000s to the Education Trust Fund, and ultimately focusing on public tertiary education in Nigeria. And what is the impact of this? As a witness to TETFund's activities, being a presenter and producer of TETFund's program, The Paradigm Shift, one of the things I will share about my experiences is everywhere I have gone to talk to anyone without prompting from TETFund, two things always happen whenever my team and I from AD4 TV Radio, whenever we arrive at any educational institution, two things happen. The first thing is doors are always open and everybody's face is always full of smiles. And the second thing is when we sit down and begin to talk about the activities of TETFund, they say, but for TETFund. But I want to modify that a little. Instead of saying but for TETFund, I will say because of TETFund. Because of TETFund. Universities in Nigeria can take for granted that they will have lecture halls, libraries, they can have laboratories, research centers in their places of operations. Because of TETFund, Nigeria went from having less than 100 PhD lecturers in our universities to over 40,000 because of TETFund. Textbooks written by Nigerian authors have made a reappearance on our bookshelves. And today, because of TETFund, research and development is taking center stage. And research and development is what is going to be the solution to Nigeria's economic problems. So no, it is not because the president is from the north or south. No, it is not because the president is Christian or Muslim. No, it is not because our constitution is bad. Our economy is struggling because we have not invested enough in research and development. And the man who has brought this issue to the fore is who is called the Apostle of Research and Development, so much so that the first research center at the Afe Babalola University was named after him. It is my distinct honor to welcome to the podium for the welcome address the Executive Secretary of TETFund, Professor Suleiman Elias Bogoro.
Thank you. The chairman of the occasion, who spoke moments ago, the Honorable Minister of Education, represented on this occasion. I will come back to the personality. His Excellency, the Governor of Kebbi State, that has been introduced. The Chairman Board of, some members were recognized.